My name is Gavin Eastham, I'm 40 years old and I live in North Wales.
Gavin Eastham is a multi-award winning martial arts instructor and owner of the highly successful Cobra Life Black Belt Academy in Shotton, North Wales. However, Gavin's journey to get where he is today hasn't been easy. Marriage breakdowns, severe mental health struggles and ultimately homelessness are just some of the obstacles Gavin has had to overcome to get where he is today. This is Gavin's story.
The first martial art I did was WTF Taekwondo. I moved from Taekwondo to Muay Thai. I moved from Muay Thai back to Taekwondo, but it was ITF at the time. In the meantime, I did quite a few freestyle bits and pieces, so kickboxing, boxing, Filipino boxing, and then more seriously, I took Wado-Ryu karate and went back to traditional kickboxing as well. I was quite fortunate in that the school I was in last as a sort of a full-time member, full-time student, was very targeted towards creating the next generation of instructors. So it was on my radar that it's a possibility, but never really thought much past that.
After working a range of jobs in different industries throughout his career, Gavin's life would ultimately take a turn for the worse when the breakdown of his marriage in 2018 saw the owner of Cobra Life left on the streets with nowhere else to turn to.
So 2012, I moved from West Yorkshire with my then wife, now ex-wife, to North Wales, and we started a new life together over the next few years. 2018, due to a breakdown of that relationship, I was put out essentially onto the street, nowhere to go. In moving from Yorkshire to Wales, as part of all that, I'd unfortunately lost ties with friends, family, so I was kind of isolated really, because a question a lot of people ask is, well, if you've got friends and family, how come you end up homeless? But I ended up cutting those ties in moving to Wales, and obviously 12, 13, 14, 15, so 6 years later, I'd not spoken to any of them in that period of time, so I couldn't really, I couldn't fall back onto them, basically. The first night, it didn't seem real. I just kind of thought, oh, you know, this isn't really gonna, this isn't me, this isn't gonna be what's gonna happen. I just kind of thought maybe I'll be able to rekindle my relationship, etc. It was only when I kind of saw the sun rising the next day that it might become a reality, but then, you know, day after day, night after night, it was obvious that was going to be my, for that period at least, that was going to be my future. So the first two sort of nights I did what most people instinctively would do, which is try and find somewhere warm, sheltered, to sleep at night, and then just sort of make use of yourself in the daytime. So I was doing a lot of walking from just sort of, you know, village to village, town to town, just mooching around, trying to essentially kill time. It was only when I spent quite a bit of time in the library, just again to pass time, and kind of researched how to survive homelessness. I researched that the way to do it is actually try and sleep in the day and stay active at night, and given it was February and it was hailstoning, that weren't a bad piece of advice really. So the first 2 days I didn't eat anything, and I think I did that predominantly out of some sort of self-harming type thing, I don't know. I was already on quite a strict diet before I became homeless. Later down the line I'd come to realise I had an eating disorder, and I'd lost drastic amount of weight, so essentially not eating and the feeling of being hungry felt quite pleasant. Being homeless led me to have the feeling that it would be easy to get into things that maybe creates a downward spiral, and I didn't want to do that. I don't have an addictive personality really anyway. It didn't interest me in sort of going down a lot of the routes that unfortunately homeless people fall into. It's really difficult to say this and somebody understand, but I think given the circumstances around my relationship, after I'd got over the whole actually I'm not going to die kind of mentality, it was quite liberating, because I was in a relationship that was quite controlling, narcissistic. I'm a victim of domestic violence, so to be able to be on your own essentially is the safest. I kind of had a safety thing as well, but because I also did quite well to not appear outwardly homeless, I weren't kind of treated as such either, really.
After surviving on the streets and living out of Flintshire food banks, Gavin's fortunes finally began to turn after he was registered as homeless by the council and provided with temporary accommodation.
And they placed me in temporary accommodation in the Holiday Inn Express. I was there for about a week, maybe 2 weeks, and then they moved me to an accommodation in Bretton, a pub that has rooms upstairs, moved me to accommodation there. I got a call from Clwyd Allen, a housing association, and they had a 1-bedroom flat available in Mould. So I signed the lease on that, and that was the start, if you like, of not being either homeless or in temporary accommodation. It was quite funny actually. So certainly the first time I was in the hotel, that was the best feeling. I remember taking 3 showers back to back and thinking how amazing it was, and seeing a kettle and thinking how amazing it was. And I remember being given a housing support officer because of I was suffering with mental health issues at the time, depression, etc. And so therefore I was classified as at risk. And she was sort of speaking to me, she was like, is there anything you need? And I was like, no, I'll be fine, even though I didn't have anything. There's no bed, nowhere to sit, nothing. And I remember sitting next to the sink on the worktop. She'd left, and I'd sort of picked myself up and put myself on this worktop, and I sat in. I just sort of looked around, and I thought, sadly, it was negative emotion rather than security. I was like, what am I going to do? Like, I'm in the middle of Mould. It's, again, another unfamiliar area. Nobody, I don't know anyone. Yes, I've got safety and a roof over my head, but nowhere to sleep. And I was a little worried. Many months ago, probably years ago now, a parent came in to say that there were drug users in the doorway next door when it was derelict next door. There was drug users in there, and they were injecting heroin between their toes, which sounds very graphic. I promise you, the sound, being told that isn't the same as going out and seeing that happen. And it was only when the gentleman had finished and sort of looked up, I recognised him as one of the gentlemen that was in the same temporary accommodation I was in. And I just think, we crossed paths at that point, and his path took him down that journey. And he looked terribly ill.
Gavin's time homeless would ultimately turn out to be the catalyst for the start of Cobra Life, as the free time allowed him to develop his successful business model and start dreaming about opening his own martial arts academy.
So the idea was, I'd done martial arts in the past, what if I could start a martial arts school type thing, what if I had my own business, what if I had some money and all these kind of things. And I remember I was speaking to the CEO of Radio D 106 in Chester, and we were talking about marketing. I was going to do advertising with his station, and he said 2 words, which he didn't say 2 words. There was 2 words in what he said that really resonated with me, and that was, you have to start to begin. I spoke to the local council regarding getting a community centre hire, and we literally started 1 night a week, less than half a mile up the road from here, in the community centre in Connors Quay, and that gave us the I suppose the launch pad to build a brand from there. 3 kids turned up to the first session. When 3 students turn up on your first night that aren't even paying, because it's a free trial, left me quite nervous and scared and worried, because I didn't have any money to be able to advertise. I had no business skills. I didn't have anything really except the field of dreams, which is build it and they will come type mentality. And that was May 2018, so homeless in February, first class in May, so it was quite a short period of time in reality. But come August, late August, I was looking like I was going to have to close because I couldn't pay the bills. It was only when I got my next break with a local school, which created that revenue, that I was able to sort of carry on. The person that had the lease for this space and the space that's just next door, artificial separation here led to this space being available that we're in now, I'd met him on a business course that I'd gone to, it was free, and we kind of hit it off. And when he said what he was doing and did we want to rent the space, I just jumped at the chance. We incorporated so that I had less risk, and we moved here at the start of 2019 with I think it was eight students. We closed 2019 year on over 100 members, so we went from 8 to 100, and we sort of accelerated through that right up to the point, obviously COVID happened, and our industry, not martial arts, but as in sports and leisure, our industry I believe was hit the hardest. But sort of when we reopened in 2021, we went from, I think, must have been 120, 130 students, and we've just been accelerating ever since, so we think we're on about 320 at the moment.
The success of Cobra Life has seen Gavin win numerous awards, including Social Enterprise of the Year from Glyndŵr University, the Early Intervention Award from the North Wales Police and Crime Commissioner, and the True Grit Award from the Martial Arts Business Mastery. However, Gavin isn't done yet and has his heart set on continuing to improve the lives of young people within the community.
I want to have multiple martial arts schools throughout North Wales and the North West. I want to impact, so our mission is to positively impact as many lives within our community as possible. I want to be known as the guy that provides life skills to young people. I want our school, our brand, to be used as a verb when it comes to martial arts. I want them to be able to automatically know that if someone's doing martial arts in this community, that it must be us because we're the place to go. I want to make sure that we create 100 centres before I finally retire, if indeed that's ever in the vision. Another part of our mission is to eradicate bullying. So I was severely bullied in school, but to eradicate bullying and provide happiness, so that's what's on all our uniforms now. That's our company tagline is actually live life happy, as simple as that. And if we can make sure children don't fall into the same traps that maybe I have that led to homelessness or led to mental health issues or depression or attempted suicide and all these things that I had to overcome, then when my head does finally hit the dirt for the final time, I think I'll be able to say that was a life well spent. I'm a big believer in every single thing that happens to you in life, there's always something to be learnt from it. And somebody might say about my homelessness, and we'll pick something positive about that, and I'd just go, right now, I wouldn't be where I am now had I not been homeless. One of our biggest phrases that we've got on the wall here is, yes, you can. It's just mindset. You've got to be able to understand that you can do it if you aim towards it. You 100% can't do it if you don't even try.
Brilliant. I think that's everything. Amazing.
Champion.